So maybe that's the thing. This would have marked 10 years.
It was January 28th, 2014.
All right. Welcome back to the Love S&D podcast. You have your host, Dipti, with Sheena and Nina joining today. We are talking about what happened to Runways and Rattles. You guys, what happened to Runways and Rattles?
$1 million question right there.
Seriously.
We started our blog in 2014. I don't know if you guys remember.
Yeah.
It was incredible because we went in with so much excitement and passion, and we actually did an amazing job. We got a lot of feedback for years and years. We just talked everything from like kids to fashion to life to growing up as South Asians in America, all of it. And then, Neen, what do you think happened? I don't even know.
This was all before blogging was like really that popular.
I don't know if you remember that your friend was the one that said, hey, girls, there are no South Asian bloggers or influencers around. Why don't you guys start? Because you have so much information to share. And we're like, okay, let's try, And we did. And it was amazing. We did some amazing collaborations. We were able to help some awesome brands. I'm sure there's some that even still going.
Yeah.
But I think just life happened. The pressure, it just all came together at one time.
Let's tackle that because it was a lot. A lot happened. And all these individual things were so different from each other, right? Like for me, we started this blog when I was pregnant with my first. So literally 10 years ago. And at that time, we were taking pictures every week. We were doing a lot of work to create the content. And we were meeting up, like physically getting together, a bunch of changes all day long. Like this was a day-long process. We would start with one post and then we would all change and do another post and we would all change and do another post. It was a lot of time that we were dedicating to this.
Yeah. And the content, it was a lot of content. It was a lot of ideas. We had like schedules on schedules. I feel like the ideas were pouring out of us and we just eventually didn't have the time. Like for me, I had all three of my children. They were all little. And as some of you already know, and if you don't know, the three of us have a village that help us, like literal village. So we were able to do it and everybody was on board helping us with the kids or cooking or whatever it may be. So we could have that time to fuel our passion. And then for me, I feel like it's just so overwhelming once we had more kids and more responsibilities.
Yeah.
And then we had so many outside influences that we really didn't think about because we went in there thinking this is such a fun hobby. Like we're able to share our lives and our ideas with everybody. And that we had so many that we just wanted to share. And we did such an amazing job doing that. And I think we still do. That platform is very hard nowadays because people are like instant gratification. They don't want to read. They want to listen. So here we are.
Yeah. I also think, we took the time so often. The kids were so tiny when we were doing this. We had 5 under 4 at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And, obviously the parents and the grandparents are like, well, where are your priorities? And we're like, well, this is part of our priority bucket, but slowly it became, the kids were getting bigger. And for those of you who have little kids right now or are just getting out of that phase, it is overwhelming the amount of just attention they need and your family needs. And, the blog became something that was like, okay, we really love this, but we have to pull back a little bit. And then that little bit of pullback gave us some grace with time. And then it became, then our next session has to be more intense, right? And we have to do even more pictures and posts and the write-ups and then editing and all of that. And then it became the outside influences being like, well, how are you monetizing and how are you doing? And then those pressures of like growing this while we're trying to grow humans and their mindsets and their bodies, I feel like that just like tipped us over in a way that it was hard for us to get back on track.
Yeah. I think for us three, we all have so many passion projects, right? Like there's just so much we want to do and so much we want to contribute to the world. And that was such a good way to go about doing it.
Yeah.
But like you said, there is so much outside pressure. And you talked about monetizing, right? So like the husbands started getting on us. They were like, listen, this is doing well. You have these followers. You have people who want the content. What are you doing to monetize this? And we did try monetizing it. When brands reached out to us, we would say, okay, this is our marketing package or whatever. We put all that together. But I feel like it never felt right to any of us. Like that part of it never felt right. We didn't want to charge people. We wanted to just market for the sake of marketing. And again, the pressures.
For the sake of collaborating, because we love supporting South Asian small businesses. That's how we were.
That's who we are.
That's who we are. That's how we came to this country, as a small South Asian business. So yeah.
I
and
think
so
that's really where it switched. Like when it became having to create monetary values and opportunities, then we were like, this doesn't feel passionate anymore. Like it doesn't feel like our passion anymore.
Organic
feels
anymore.
Like a business, and that's really not what we were doing it for, because we all kind of had our own individual career paths. This was just like a side hobby. Like we love helping people, we love reaching out to people, we love connecting with people. And then it just kind of switched. And then once I feel like the money became a part of it, we all kind of just like put more pressure on ourselves. Like, okay, you come up with 3 ideas, Nina, you come up with 3 ideas, I'll come up with 3 ideas. We have to get it written. It didn't feel organic anymore. It almost felt a little more forced. Like, I can't come up with 3 ideas. Like, and then I'm like, I need better pictures, and I need like, like it just became more fighting than enjoyable. And I think that's when we were like, all right, forget it.
But it wasn't even like it was one day we decided to end everything, because we did come back. And we came back several times, right? Like we had those "we're back" posts like 18 times we were back on that blog. I think we have a 2024 post saying we are back.
But I think that it just shows that, a lot of people just see the success part of these passion projects, but the work, the sheer work it takes to get to the level of, even these people who become influencers, it's commendable, because it is not easy. It is not easy. And for anybody who thinks it's like super easy, walk in the park, oh, I just want to grow up and be an influencer. No, it takes a lot of work, dedication, time away from, your hanging out or watching TV or being with people you love, being around your kids, because it's work. It's truly work. And so when you're doing it as a passion project, it's different than when it became about being a business. And I think, like Sheen said, I think it's just the business part was not the part that we were focused on. And that's when it just slowly started to...
I know. And it was such a shame, because the amount of people that still ask us, what happened to the blog? When are you going back to the blog? We're like,
I know.
Those were all our comeback moments. We were like, okay, we're coming back. And then we're like, no, not.
And even if you read our sister chat for like maybe a month's worth of our sister chat, there's probably 4 times where we're like, okay, guys, we're going to pick this back up. Like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get back into blogging, or we're going to get back into like posting and things like that. Like, because it's always, we have a conversation and we're like, man, like, people must be going through the same things we're going through, right? We talked so much yesterday. Yesterday was Christmas for us, and we were with the family, and my God, we had so many conversations where we're like, man, I wish we had a microphone right now, because this is what every Indian family must be going through. And that's basically why this podcast was born, right? It's easy enough for all of us to do. We're literally just hooking up to a microphone from our homes for a couple hours a day, or a couple hours a week. I didn't mean a day, I promise.
I'm out.
Nina checked out.
But it's just, there's so much to contribute. There's so much going on. And I think for me, the biggest part has been when people do talk to me about the blog, it's always like, man, like I was literally in the same spot you guys were. Like I was doing this with you guys. We were raising our kids together. We were, like deciding Montessori versus daycare together. Like all those decisions happened as like a group, like the R&R group.
And I think that, a lot of us are this first generation in this country. So it was really hard because it's not like our parents were making these decisions like daycare or Montessori. Like, no, they didn't have that choice, right? They just had to make sure there was food on the table, that they were creating some sort of success to set their kids up at a certain level. So I feel like there is a big group of us that all these decisions are still happening for the very first time, right?
Yeah.
You'll hear a lot of things that we navigate these days with now our kids are tweens. This was 10 years ago that we did Runways and Rattles. And like to think a decade later, it's like, listen, Chi-Chi's can come back. We can come back.
Yeah. That's
Oh my God, is Chi-Chi's coming back for real?
Chi-Chi's is coming back.
Chi-Chi's
For all
is
our
coming
Jersey
back.
people, if you know, you know.
It took Chi-Chi's coming back for us to come back.
No, but
Yep.
also I feel like with the blog, the timing like of having kids, the timing of like also starting our careers, right? Like we talked about other influencers, that's their full-time job. The blogging was not our full-time job. That was 10% of our life, and our jobs were our full-time jobs, and then our kids were our second full-time job.
Yeah.
And the timing, it didn't work out. And like you said, like sometimes it just seems easy to just throw a bunch of pictures on there and write a post, but like we also didn't want to put out content that wasn't perfect, which again, that was like our own pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And thanks to mom, we all have some level of OCD. So it would be like, well, this word isn't good enough. Somebody's going to pick it apart. So then that post would get thrown out. Or like this picture, she'd be like, well, this picture's not centered and there's like a little white line. So, but we're like, forget it. Throw that post out. Forget it.
No, absolutely. Like the pressure of being perfect was so much. And like, do you remember the pictures? That was like the hardest
Yeah.
freaking part of that blog. The pictures and getting them the same size as you scroll down. Holy hell, I swear to God, I have PTSD from like just looking at the pictures and making sure they're lined up, because Sheena would flip out if we put a picture that wasn't perfectly lined up with the picture before it.
Yeah. I know. We did a lot of that to ourselves.
Yeah.
But we also learned a lot,
Yeah,
like
we
we
learned a
learned a
lot.
lot. We learned each other's nuances. We learned
Yeah.
each other's boundaries, and not that we abide by them by any means whatsoever, but we learned them just
Yeah.
to know in the back of our brain.
Yeah.
Like if you overcommit Nina, she ain't showing up.
Yeah. But then we're like, Nina,
Hashtag
you have to do
When she does show up, it's like use every second of availability she has.
Yeah. Exactly. Hence she's here.
Hence I'm here until I
For
start
real.
my full-time job.
No, but it was a journey. But this is the second part of it. And I think it's gonna be exciting and fun. Like we're just excited to carry on sharing the literal next decade of experiences
Yeah.
in our
Yeah.
lives.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, there's a
Wait,
lot. There's
I
a
think
lot
there
to
was
unload.
at least for me, there was still one more factor that I think really put me off the blogging. And this part of life hasn't gone away. So this is just something that I think that I'm going to have to navigate. But the comments, I have been a huge proponent of no comments. Turn off commenting, turn off all of that. And I get it. I love the comments on Nina and Nani. It is the most beautiful part of it. People sharing with you their experiences that they had with their Nani, or just missing their Nani, or appreciating our mom. But a lot of it was like, I don't know that I can handle negative commenting or even the thought of a negative comment.
But I think as with anything in life, there's good and bad, right? And so I think commenting is a way for people to express their thoughts and ideas in relation to our thoughts and ideas. We're not right all the time,
Yeah.
nor is everything we're going to say like God's word. It's just our thoughts and opinions. And everybody's entitled to an opinion, right? That's what I teach the kids. Everybody can have an opinion, but only facts matter. So don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Just let it roll off your shoulder. Don't read the comments. Me and Sheena will handle it.
Yeah.
Well, no, we won't, because this is your passion project.
We used to
Oh my
have-
gosh, she just said she'd handle it.
See, this is my
We-
problem in life.
I know, see? We used to have negative comments on the blog.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
she's saying.
that's what I'm
We
saying.
just
That
address
like,
them. We just address them. It's literally it's life. Like, has nobody ever said anything mean to you?
no, trust me, in court, I get like that on a daily.
Yeah.
But in that situation, I know how to address that. And I can, first of all, see that person face to face. Now, when you have a person commenting negative things behind a computer, there's just something so much more cynical and mean about it than someone doing it to your face. But that was a big part of like, you know what, I could do without that part of the blog in my life, like
Yeah.
the whole negative commenting. So guys, if you have
You
nothing
were
nice
also
to say,
pregnant
like
when we started. Don't forget.
I was super
Oh.
emo, pregnant.
Emo.
Hot mess syndrome.
I was hot mess central. But with that being said, yes, R&R did fall apart. It's still there. It's still up. It's still functioning as Love S&D.
It evolved.
It
Yeah.
evolved.
It has evolved.
Apart. It just
Yeah.
took a hiatus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This will be
We're-
a nice like extension of that journey in a more modernized, relatable way. And you know,
Let's
we're
see
gonna
how it
share,
goes.
we're
We'll
gonna
go with
share all the
punches.
same content, similar content.
Yeah.
All our experiences. We have been through a ton since that. And we have so
Oh my
much to
God.
share. And I feel like, especially in our culture, there isn't as much sharing. So it's even more important that we're open and honest. And hopefully we can just help people and be there for people and like be someone that listens or someone that relates, and we can help you through a moment or a situation. You know, that's
Yeah.
really our goal.
Especially like these passion projects, right? Like if you have a passion project and you don't post or do something to contribute to it for a couple years, it doesn't matter. People will come back and start reading or listening or whatever. You don't have to let go of it just because your two sisters couldn't align on.
Or it doesn't even matter about the people, right? It's about yourself. Like,
Yeah,
if that's what you want,
exactly.
do it. Do you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's why it never actually fizzled away and we tried over and over to bring it back, is because we're still so passionate, right?
Yeah.
To do this, which is what we did well then. And it's just in a different format. So let's give it a try. And this may evolve. Who knows? But here we are.
Yeah. So yes, R&R is now Love S&D, the podcast. So follow along with us. We will be sharing so much. As Sheena said, we have literally been through the ringer, all three of us separately, positively, negatively, everything in between. You know, each of us have had journeys with our kids individually, except the twins are perfect.
Always.
I just had the kids I had all 9 kids together with me for 3 days. And it was literally the best 3 days because not only did I just get to spend time with them and they got to spend time with each other, but honestly, when they're far away from you guys, they're just different people.
Yeah, they're called babysitters.
Yes, they were definitely babysitting my kids. Absolutely. Naya put my Zuzu to bed every single day, which was amazing. But honestly, they're just so free-spirited and they just love to laugh and make jokes and run around and like they literally act like little babies because they're around my little babies. And it was so freaking awesome. But yeah, each one of us have had very different journeys with all of the kids. And we're going to be sharing all of that. We've also gone through a lot of personal stuff, both personally, career-wise. So we'll be here. We'll be sharing, and we can't wait for you guys to join in the conversation. If you follow us on Instagram, it's Love S&D with some underscores around it, I think. You could
I think
comment
you might
on.
need to be a little more specific.
I know. I'll
We'll
try
just
to
link it in the comment. There you
That's
go.
a good idea. But yeah, and then we'll be on YouTube where you can watch our faces while you listen to this. So definitely follow along, guys. We will be back at our next episode. You guys want to say bye?
Bye.
All right. Thanks for listening.
guys.
With love, S&D.